Hey everybody, it's Andy. Welcome to my little corner of YouTube where every week I have my show on helping you build a career you love. Today we are going to talk about the fastest way to change careers. Actually, the fastest, the most successful, and I just can't wait to share some of the stories with you today. Welcome to those of you who are here with me live. You are in the first day of my free 3-day live workshop called my Job Search Accelerator. And you know I stay up late thinking of these endearing names, but I called it the Job Search Accelerator because what I really wanted to call it was the smartest things and activities that you should be doing in your job search and career change that will lead to the right results the fastest. But try fitting that in 100 characters. So, but all kidding aside, great to have you. If you are here with me live, get in the chat. Tell me where you're from. Tell me what you need. Make sure to put some question marks in front of your questions because the chat gets pretty lively. We're going to do a pretty good Q&A here after I go through the teaching portion of this. So I really, really love talking about changing careers because it's been a really important part of my life. I've made two fairly significant and what I would say successful career changes. I'm going to share a bit about those with you. In fact, what I've actually done is I've actually reverse engineered the methodology that I've used to do those two career changes, thinking back about what I went through, how I would go through it now. I've put this wonderful 12-step program together. There's really 4 stages to any career change. There's 12 steps to it. We're not going to go through all that today, but we are going to talk about some aspects of that I think will give you some health and some speed to the changes that you want to make. And one other thing that I want you to realize about career changes is that the more drastic the change, the longer it's going to take, the more research you're going to need to do to make sure you're making the right decisions, the more you're going to need to lean on your network for some help. I hope you get that. And one other thing that I want to say before we kind of jump into the, some of the questions and the here's how and the stories and all that good stuff is I'm going to make a little assumption that if you are considering changing careers, whether you're going to make a wholesale change or whether you're going to make a minor career pivot or you're going to take a first little step on your way to a change, whatever the case may be, that you've done your homework, you have done some research, you've done some self-discovery about the things that are important to you, and you've made a good decision about the direction that you want to take. Because if you don't do that effectively, no career change is going to be successful. We're going to talk a little bit about that and what kind of research I'm talking about. And the other thing is if you need additional help because we're not going to cover everything here. I've got hundreds of videos out on the YouTube channel that you can go check out that are related to job searching and things of that nature. But I do have a career changer playlist with a half a dozen or so videos in it that will give you some additional insight. And one that I would call your attention to that is it doesn't matter if you're job searching or career changing but I shot a video on how to choose the right job for you. And there is a lot of self-discovery components in that. And regardless of what your goal is in this change you want to make, I would highly recommend looking at that too, because I think that will help you do your homework before you make that decision about what route to take. Okay, so that's pretty important. But let's talk about, I'm going to take you through this. We've got some backstories. We've got some questions I want to give you to ask yourselves and things that I want you to think through. But one of the things that is going to be a vital component, it's really thematic through this whole discussion that we're going to have today. It applies to everything that I'm going to say, and it's something that I never want you to lose sight of or forget as you go through any kind of change in your life, especially this kind of career change. The less stuff that you have to change in the change, the better. Because the less things that you have to change in the change, the 3 things are going to be certain. The easier the change, the greater the likelihood of success, and the faster you will be able to make that change. So I want you to keep that in mind. The less change in the change, the better. And another way that I want you to look at this, and this is what we're going to talk about today, is the number of things. If you can keep the number of things that you need to learn down to a minimum, it will be much, much easier to make that change faster. And in today's discussion, in this workshop that we're going to have, everything is going to be about speed. We don't all have to be in a hurry, but I know a lot of people want to make the change quickly. So I want to siphon this down, but this is all aimed at speed. So there are many ways to get to where you want to go. I'm even going to give you a little history of mine and what I went through, but just keep that in mind. The number of things that you have to change is going to determine the duration or the amount of time it's going to take for you to get there, And I want to talk about this, and I want to give you a couple of stories. I want to hit you with some stories really quick, boom, boom, right up front, because I want to share these stories because I think it's going to give you a better perspective of how to think through the rest of the discussion that we're going to have. Now, I mentioned that I went through a couple of career changes. Some of you might know my background, some may not, but I've gone through 2 changes in my life, and I'm going to actually talk about both of them for different purposes. But I was in my late 30s, and I had been I had an engineering degree. I got out of school. I got into information technology stuff. I was in consulting. I started developing software and designing it and managing projects. I started to grow. I started to sell that work, manage clients, businesses that were clients of my consulting firm. I would run projects, things of that nature. And as I evolved into my 30s, I started running business units where we would, sell and market and sell and deliver consulting services to other companies, a business-to-business services sale and solution that supported teaching organizations how to better optimize their business processes and use technology to do that. So that's what I was doing, but I decided I didn't love it. I really didn't love it, and I wanted to make a change. So in my late 30s, I decided I wanted to focus more on what I wanted to do. I thought about what I loved, what I enjoyed, and that was helping people. And I liked what I was doing. I just didn't love what I was doing, and I couldn't see myself doing it another 30 years. So I thought about what was it that I could do. And I went from being an IT executive to a recruiter, to a search firm owner, an executive recruiter. And while that may look like a complete left turn, I want to go back to what I just said about the number of things that you need to learn in the change. So what might look like a huge left turn, if you break this down, if we actually just take a minute and decompose what I thought, what I went through, I thought about, I knew how to run a company. I'd already been running business units within my organization, so I knew how to do those things. I knew how to market services. I knew how to sell them. I knew how to deliver consulting-type services in a business-to-business relationship. I didn't really know how to recruit. That was a different skill set, but I did know how to interview, which was part of the hiring and recruitment process, so I knew some of that. And if you keep thinking through the rest of the stuff that I needed to learn, let's say there were these 10 things, I already knew 9.5 of them. So there was only 5% or so of this change that I needed to learn. And while it looks very different, I'm not exaggerating for a fact, I was literally able to quit my company one day, open up a search firm the next day, because all you need is a phone and a computer at this point, and this is 2004, and I actually had a client or two before I even knew what the name of the company was going to be. Ultimately, it became Mile Walk. But the reason that I'm sharing that with you is I obviously enjoy sharing a piece of me with you, but more importantly, I want that to open your eyes, that I don't want you to miss opportunities for yourself because you think they're going to be very difficult or there's a lot for you to learn. When you really go through that self-discovery and you identify what you want to do and what you're able to do in that sequence, I think you can see that. Now, I want to talk about something that's drastically different. Let's call, the first one under the eye-opening, don't miss the opportunity category. Let's call what I'm about to tell you right now with don't be fooled by what looks similar but can take quite a long time to accomplish. So if you fast forward a number of years as I was an executive recruiter, I was learning employment, obviously hiring. Of course, I got good at looking at resumes, what those were supposed to look like, job searching, interviewing, salary negotiation. A lot of these things that some of you have been learning from me for years, others are new, but you can probably see there's tons and tons of assets out there. That subject matter, I knew that many years ago too. I did. But let's say 4 years ago, let's say call it summer of 2015, I decided my aspirations were greater. I wanted to help more people. So I still wanted to help people. I just wanted to help more of them. And in order to do that, if I stayed a recruiter, I could only help so many people in so many companies throughout the course of a year. So I wanted to become a trainer because that was going to allow me to reach my goal of reaching and helping more people. Now, it might look quite easy to go from a recruiter to a trainer, but let's decompose this one for a second. I understood how to sell services. For 30 years, that's what I had been doing. So I understood what it was like to do that in a business-to-business environment where I could sit down across the table from you, or I can talk to you on the phone, but some way I can verbally talk to you, listen to you, understand your needs, talk about our services and how they could help. But when you look at becoming a trainer, now the buyer's different. So it's not a business, it's a consumer. It's somebody who's going to be buying something from you that is more of a product. And even though I'm teaching, we're still packaging the teaching in online training courses and other things that an individual is going to buy. Well, now there's a completely different type of sale. You market it differently. For the privilege of me to offer something to you through a medium, most of that was going to be done through email. And in order for me to have the privilege to email you, I needed you to find me. In order to do that, I needed a different marketing strategy. I had to build a social media platform and a bunch of stuff there. Had to learn how to shoot videos and all these other things that went on systems, integration, things to deliver. All of these 20 things that I needed to learn, I only knew one of them. And so what's happening is this transition through my career, which might look simple, is happening over the course of years right before your eyes. So I want you to think about that the homework that you need to do to make sure that you understand all of those things that you need to learn in order to make that change are going to determine the length of time it's going to take you in order to do this effectively. So really, really concentrate on what is it that actually needs to change. All right, so I want this burned in your brain. Anybody, job changer, career changer, it makes no difference what your goal is. It makes no difference what your goal is. The number of things that I need to change. Now, let's talk about something that I actually explicitly said as I was telling you those stories. First thing that I want you to do, these are the warm-ups. I want you to just think for a second about what you want to do. I'm not talking about I need you to quit everything you're doing and go seek out your passion because that's what you're supposed to do. I'm just saying, what do you want to do? I loved helping people. I love that. Right? It was an aspect of what I was doing as a consultant, and I had team members and clients and other things like that. What is it that you want to do? That's number one. That video that I mentioned about how to find the right job, that'll help you with that. The second thing that I want that is a big part of one of the 12 steps is, well, how am I going to make that happen? There's researching, there's building out your plan, there's doing things like that, but the how should come second. Don't throw in the towel. Don't let the how drive the what you want to do. This comes second. And what you're doing is you're looking for the intersection between what you want and what you are able to do. And then in that intersection, you'll build the plan of how you make that happen. Okay, so now we're getting into, well, hey, where's that speed thing you promised me? Well, this is the next three things we're going to talk about are going to all be related to speed. So if you want to go through some kind of career change, whether you wanted to do something that was a little more drastic, like my second change, or something that appeared drastic but really wasn't that big a change, like my first change, or you just want to make a minor pivot, or you're a business analyst who wants to go to be a product developer, or you're a seller who wants to be a marketer, or whatever it might be. Here's what I want you to think through. These are the questions that I want you to ask yourself, because this is what will lend speed to your ability to minimize the number of things you need to change. All right, the first thing that you ought to do, if possible, ask yourself, is there a change I can make within my existing company? So what are we talking about here? Well, you work for an organization, and if you change jobs or roles or functions or divisions or whatever it might be inside your company, generally the only thing that you would really need to learn is the new role, right? You know the company, you know the market, you know the people. Throw on all the other stuff, the incidentals like the commute. You have an idea what the political and cultural environments are like and all that good stuff. that is ideal. And if you have a longer term vision for what it is you want to do, that's okay. Maybe the first step you take is inside your organization, because you take that first step inside your organization, it's going to be a lot easier to take that second step going outside your organization. Okay, so that is the single easiest way to make that change inside the company. Well, maybe that's not possible, right? Maybe there are no openings. Maybe nobody's freeing up anything inside your company. Maybe you're not at that company any longer. Maybe you are available to watch me at 11:15 Central Time because you are on the couch at your house. That's totally okay. How about this one? Can you stay in the same market or industry? This is number 2. So in my sequence or my concatenation of questions here, this is what I would do second. So if I want to make a change, and I can't do it inside my company, is there another organization that's in my space, or market doesn't just necessarily need to be within industries? Like I'm in healthcare, I got to go to healthcare. I'm in financial services, I go to another financial services. It could be solution line. Maybe you are a business analyst who understands the SAP software product and the materials management and inventory aspects of this. Maybe you could find another opportunity to become a product developer, an integration analyst, or whatever in another organization who's using a different industry that's using that same solution type. So, I literally just thought of this as I was pouring my coffee, an example of a client that we worked with for like 10 years. Loved this client. They were a hardware and software and services technology vendor, consulting vendor. Basically, infrastructure and networking was really their bread and butter. They did work in a variety of industries, but about half of what they did, to 60%, was in the healthcare space, and even more niche-y related to hospitals. Okay, so not necessarily the payer, but the provider. What they would do is they would actually seek out people that were subject matter experts in hospitals, administrators, nurses. We used to literally recruit people and say, hey, you interested in making a change, from nursing to you want to be on the sales team to support, scoping out the solution or thinking up, how creatively these guys could build solution lines that support hospitals. What do they need? So that happens a lot. You sell financial services vehicles, you want to sell technology vehicles, sell them to financial services companies. That's what I'm talking about. So these are other ways of looking at, is there something I can stay within, kind of a lane, a swimming lane, so to speak, and not have to make that many changes. So those nurses had to learn a little bit more about, the business of selling technology solutions to hospitals. But my guess is they were probably dealing with some of that. They certainly understand the processes inside the hospital. Those are a lot easier transitions than you would imagine if you have the right pedigree. Sure, if a nurse doesn't have that selling aspect or that aspect to actually interact in that capacity from a business to business relationship, it might not work. But this is what I want you thinking about, that market could be market, industry, solution line, or whatever. So believe me, companies, they value this. Your competitors, or your company's competitors, I should say, will value your insider knowledge of that market, and that company. So that's the other one. Now, this third one, it's number 3, but it might be my favorite. So along the lines of networking, this is a subsector of networking, but this should be at the top of your networking bucket. So it's not just who do I know, and let me look at people. These are very specific people I want you to look at. And I want you to look at people you used to work with. People you used to work with. People you used to work with. This is a subset of networking. Why are these people so valuable in a career change? Let's think about this. If somebody worked with you 10 years ago, and maybe you were in a different capacity, you were a business analyst, and you want to become a product development specialist, or you want to be the product development owner, doesn't really matter. If somebody knows you through work and knows your awesome work ethic and knows how brilliant and bright and, the star that you are and how funny you are and all that good stuff, they are going to be the best people that can pull you in or network with you to get you to the right people into their organizations. Now, those people that you used to work with are probably scattered all over the place. But if they remember you fondly, or even if you worked with them briefly, I would reach out to them. If I was going to go back and take a corporate COO job or something of that nature, I would go call all my friends that I used to work with 20 years ago at one of the consulting companies. We were 100 when I started. We were 450 at one point. There are a lot of people that I know who understand that I had worked in various capacities that would have conditioned me and given me the experience to do those kind of things, even though I've been away from it for a long time. If I wanted to change back to something like that. So these are people that you need to lean on. So normally when I'm teaching programs, I'm teaching workshops, I'm shooting videos, I always say, I want you to be targeted in your networking. And by targeted, I mean I'd rather you decide where you want to go first and then find the route to get there. So don't just go calling people and networking, because that could be a waste of time. I would rather you know where you're going and then find the route to get there through people. In this case, for people who are trying to make career changes, and even job seekers, just people that want to change companies but stay in the same role type, I would still call people that would be like my third wave. Everybody that I used to work with, get all their email addresses, get connected with them on LinkedIn. I don't care where you find them on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or wherever, where you should all be connected with me. But these people are going to be vital. So let's just recap it, right? Be thoughtful and open-minded about the possibilities. All right, that was my first lesson to you. Secondly, I want to make sure that you're researching, you really know what the number of things you need to change is. So don't just think you're going to quit your accounting job to become a trainer. You got like 19 things you got to learn. But for most of you who are looking to change careers, who will likely go from one organization to another organization, within your company first, within the market second, and then who did I used to work with, and contact those people third. That is what will help you make the career change or the career pivot the fastest. All right, I hope that serves you. Before we get into the Q&A, if you enjoyed the video, I always forget to say this, click the thumbs up button on the channel. Make sure you are subscribed if you are here with me live. We've got an event tomorrow, an event the next day. I also don't want you to miss the weekly videos and live office hours. One other thing that I want to share with you for your career changers and anybody, we've got a special promo going on this week with my job search bootcamp. If you don't know what that is, Kara, would you drop the link in the chat? It is a 5 main module, soup to nuts, self-discovery, marketing yourself through resume writing and cover letters, all the job searching tactics, all the job interviewing tactics, and all the salary negotiation tactics. That's the base job search bootcamp. It's awesome. This promotion, for the first time ever, it is the most generous package I've ever offered for a mildly reduced rate. And you're going to get a lot of specialty sections for you career changers. I have put a module in there with all the stages, all the steps that you need to go through. For executives and individuals who are any non-executives over 50 years old, there is a module now in there for you. There are some other specialty sections in this thing. We are starting a 5-week run of private live bootcamp sessions every Friday, starting Friday, for the next 5 weeks. So I'm not going to go through all that. I just want you to know it's there. If you're on my email list, I hope you're opening the emails and looking at what is inside, because it's a really, really good package. And over the course of the year, you get about 24 to 30 private live sessions with me. So those are boot camper only, couple hour sessions where we go through all your stuff. It's a lot of good support. The communities are awesome. I'll talk a little bit more about it as the week goes on, but I just wanted to let you know. That's the first thing. Second thing is tomorrow we're going to be talking about networking, job search networking. That goes for career changers. It goes for anybody who's changing jobs. I am going to break down exactly the components that you need to have in a networking message that you're going to send to whomever you're going to send it about whatever you're going to send it. So that is going to be tomorrow. And then on Thursday, if you're back for that one's pretty awesome. I'm going to give you the activities that you should be doing. I'm going to give you a job search challenge that I've been running for about 7 months with awesome results. I'm going to tell you all the problems you're going to have with the challenge, and I'm going to give you the solutions. So all that's on Thursday. But the next couple days are going to be great. We're going to do Q&As as well. I'll talk a little bit more about the boot camp, as you can imagine. But I'm totally geeked up about this, and I'm loving to have you. Okay, how are we doing? 162 people. Awesome. Karen, anything break? There it is. Steve G, how you doing? I got you first. And I got my Life is Better with Chickens around. By the way, this morning, in honor of speed, I did speed work on the track. I weightlifted. Actually, I started working at 5 o'clock in the morning. In case anybody wants to know this, I started working at 5 o'clock in the morning. At 7 o'clock in the morning, after 2 hours, I did my speed work. I did my weightlifting. I came back. I got home, or I was home. And I made 3 eggs from my little beauties and did some other stuff and did some laundry too. Okay, and now I'm here with you. All right, Steve. I had an interview profile set up with a recruiter yesterday. He is one of those that recruit employees for different companies, third-party recruiter. How long should I wait to follow up with the recruiter? Okay, for Steve, who I love, who's a great community member of the Mile High Academy, and all of you. First thing I want you to know is I have a video out there, everything you want to know about working with corporate recruiters, and that's one video. And the other video is everything you want to know about working with third-party search firms or executive recruiters. That's a separate video. Make sure you watch that. Okay? Now, first thing is when you get done with any type of recruiter, whether it's corporate or executive, so third party like Steve is referring to, you want to make sure, just like at the end of any interview, what's next, about how long will it take for you to get back to me, and so on. So the first thing I would tell you is always ask that, and then that recruiter should have managed your expectations. So for example, if you were in a call with me like Gretchen the other day was, I said, Gretchen, I'm going to call my client. If I hit her right away, I'll call you right back. If it takes me a few days, don't sweat it. I'll call you as soon as I talk to her. Usually it's a couple days. Okay? So if you don't hear from me in, say, 4 days, then I would expect her to email me. But that wouldn't happen because I would call her anyway and tell her I haven't connected. For you, I would wait 7 days. 7's a magical number if you don't know. And then email the recruiter. Say, I just wanted to follow up. Because I don't know how the recruiter left it with you. The recruiter could have said, okay, Steve, I've got a number of people lined up over the course of the next 10 days that I'm going to be interviewing for this particular position for one of my clients. I'm going to call you when that's done. Or I will call you if and only if you are selected. Or no matter what, I will call you within 7 days or whatever. You are looking for that. You need to ask that. But if you, in the absence of that information, because we're here now, I would wait. If it was yesterday, let's see, interview yesterday, that's Wednesday. By the end of next Wednesday, I would email that recruiter if I have not heard from him or her. All right, hope that helps. Sam, how you doing? John Bailey, how you doing? All right, Sam, you got a question, and I think I got in the chat before we started, and I asked you for more information because I didn't understand your question. All right, Sam's asking, Andy, thanks so much for the wonderful career planning tutelage. You're welcome. I accepted a position. Yes, I know. Congratulations. As a risk manager for an unmanned systems company. Question, is it smart to go through another interview for training only? I don't know who that interview is with. I don't know if you meant for another company where you were going to be Training, I'm not really sure what you're asking me there. If you're inside a company, I don't know if you started yet or what. If you give me more insight and just head to the bottom, and I'll either catch it or Kara will slack it to me. So because I want to get you some info there. Oh, wait. Hang on. I'm getting the information now. Isn't this awesome? Okay. Sam was contacted for professor of a logistic position, and they are planning the interview soon. I already accepted another job, but would love to interview for self-development purposes. So, I don't love this situation. That's okay. This happens, right? Timing is not always perfect. I will never tell you should do this or you should do that. You know that. You know me well enough. Okay. On this type of situation, if you're asking, should you interview for self-development purposes, meaning should you interview to practice interviewing? No, do not do that. All right, if you're going to tell me, hey, I took this job, my dream company contacted me, or I got this call from a recruiter, and this other opportunity is absolutely awesome, and you want to go investigate it because there is a legit shot that you're going to let the other company, you're going to break their heart, and you're going to go on, then I say go ahead and do it. Okay, because while I don't love that because you just started a job, I also, the only thing more miserable than you leaving and breaking it off with that company is you constantly looking over your shoulder at something that you could have had that you wish you would have done, and I don't want you to be looking over your shoulder. So don't do it. So if you meant do it for training only to practice interviewing, you don't need to practice interviewing. You don't. You could take all my stuff and you could, use that and train up, in the mirror. But Sam, I wouldn't do it for training. I would not. First off, here again, all my focus would be on kicking butt in my new job. And I don't want to be distracted or taking time away from doing that. Whether that's a phone call during hours or after, or leaving the office or whatever. So that's my take. So I don't think that I would put my energy into the things, That's like, you know what? That's like me saying, I'm married, but I should just go practice dating. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's kind of the same analogy. I don't think my wife would like that. I wouldn't do that. All right. Evelyn O. How you doing, my boot camper? From New York. Hey, by the way, those of you in Chicago, we're going to be doing a meetup here. Kara and I got to get the date. I think it'll be in I don't know. Maybe we'll do it around my birthday, or we'll do it in August or September. But we'll do it soon. And Evelyn, I think New York is going to be on the hit list too. So we will keep you posted. All right, your question. Targeting companies, is there a website for a list of companies located in specific areas like downtown New York? Evelyn, great question. So if you are, I'm trying to think what assets I have publicly and because you are a boot camper and I know you have other assets that not everybody here does. We have put together for, some of these are in the public domain, some of these are in the private domain, but for anybody who wants to go find them, I highly recommend that when you are in a location, wherever that is, I don't care what the state is, I don't care what the city is or whatever. Number one, not to be overly obvious, you will be amazed at what you find when you Google best companies to work for in Manhattan, best companies to work for in New York metro area, best consumer goods companies to work for in. Okay, that's one way, that you will get lists. The next thing that you all can do is there are best and brightest and fastest growing and Inc. 500 and Inc. 5000 lists, and all of those lists. Evelyn, you have access to those in the Bootcamp. In session or module 3, there's the main session about searching. We have all those lists for you. And what you can do, and anybody who doesn't can Google them, but you can go out and you can look for these lists, and every year these lists are refreshed and published, And what happens is they'll have the companies on there. And what I would do is most of these companies have like a headquarters somewhere. A lot of them have national presences. Some of them are willing to hire people to work remotely, and you never know. But one thing you do know if they're on there is people like working there and they're growing. And if they're growing, they're hiring. So we did something with one of my boot campers, and we did a one-on-one session. He was struggling a little bit with, kind of had like searching block on coming up with companies. He was in the consumer product goods area, and he sold consumer product goods. But lately he had sold hardware goods, and then prior to that there was outdoors goods, fishing equipment, hunting equipment, those kind of things. But he'd also sold golf equipment and other things, but basically consumer goods. So we just started thinking of all the consumer goods companies that were related to the things he sold, all the hardware companies, all the sporting good companies, just off the top of our head, and then all the outdoors companies and all that. And we made a list. We came up with like 50 right off the top of our head. Never used a computer. Then we started searching for best consumer goods companies to work for in Chicagoland, and then a bunch of those came up. Then we started searching by categories: best toy companies, best whatever companies, but other things that were similar in nature. Remember I was saying about the thing about the market? Well, the solution line was consumer product goods. It could be any consumer product goods. If you're looking for a sales job and you know how to sell one thing, you can probably sell another. So, but Evelyn, that's what I would do, and you could literally Google that and lists will come up. Like in Chicago, Cranes is really popular. We have a company that I was a part of in Milwaukee. Milwaukee's always publishing this stuff, but you will find that. And if you have any questions, go into session 3 module 3 in the main session and just ask us right there, and we will get right back to you. Thea Rose, hello to you. Varun, how you doing, my Canadian friend? Kat Harrison, thank you for the lovely email that is still in my inbox, but I appreciate you sharing your story with me. Katie Jean. That's the full name. Okay, I was wondering if it was like Katarina or if it was Catherine or what, or Kathy. Technically a career changer. Salesforce admin. Oh man. First timer, can we get her a, can we get Kat a big live office hours / workshop / live show hug? You're a great direct response marketer. You are welcome. You guys have no idea how long I spend writing emails to you. I really hope you read them. But yes, this is, I love to help you, and I'll do whatever it takes. That's another thing. Can I say that to career changers? I taught about this I have a leadership coaching, monthly coaching program that a number of you are in. And, you come each month, and I talked about how to make great. One of the sessions was on decision making and how to make great big decisions in your life. And I want to say this today because the topic is career changing. Anytime you make a career change, that is a big decision you're making. One of the things that I taught the people in the leadership group is what we don't do is when people make changes, we think about what we think will feel like when we reach the pinnacle of what it is we think it will be. So trainers that think, this is awesome, I'll be well known and I'll make zillions of dollars and I'll do that. There's nothing like that. Okay, but that's what they think. Instead of those that focus on the helping people part, and the question that you need to ask yourself as a career changer, question I needed to ask myself is, what do I care enough about that I'm willing to suffer for it? And meaning that I will look for the joy, and I will find the joy in the challenges and the pain that I'm going to have to endure to accomplish what it is that matters to me, which is helping you. So I'm willing to learn how to shoot videos. I'm willing to learn how to do live shows. I'm willing to write email copy to communicate and share with you. All of you career changers, you need to think about, what am I going to give up? What am I willing to endure? What matters enough to me that I'm willing to train on the weekends and outside in the evenings and all that good stuff? Give up some hobbies and things of that nature that it takes if you want to do this. So, Kat, the reason that I appreciate that feedback, and I love that you think so, and the reason that happens, and it's something that I want you all to take away from today, is you gotta want it badly enough that you're willing to do whatever it takes. And whatever it takes is likely gonna be worse than you imagined. And that's okay. That's okay. This is not a complaint. That's not I've learned a lot of stuff that I never thought I had to. And I love it. I mean, I do. I love the learning part. And I love the helping part, which matters most. So welcome. All right. One other side note, for those of you that really like stuff like this, we are going to be filming a goal-setting masterclass that I'm going to offer for free that I'm actually going to sell. And if you sign up, it'll be in August. It'll be a 3-day thing like this, but it'll be through Zoom. It'll be a little bit different, but that's coming. That's kind of my first little announcement of that. All right. Evelyn, I got you again. What's the best approach for a career changer who has been unemployed or has an employment gap? Evelyn, for you, I know you recently went back to school, got that nice degree. We talked about what to do with all that stuff on your resume. I would make sure that I go through the researching part, and I know that you have a goal to be in human resources. There's nothing wrong with that. So for you, and also because you are recently completed a degree, I would leverage that degree, and I would probably go about this approach using the 12 steps that I gave you in the Bootcamp. I would use that as my guideline and my work plan. But for the purposes of this audience here, the one thing that I would say to everybody is you're gonna have to, so in Evelyn's case, she's in a gap. She completed schooling, and now it's almost like you're going through the same exercises that a recent college graduate would go through to start, almost a mini start over. And I would be open to looking at opportunities to come in at the entry level to get on the path that you want. The other thing that I would probably be doing is I would be looking for opportunities to volunteer to learn the trade in what it is that you want to work toward. The other thing is obviously those things that I mentioned about go back at the people. So you're not a rookie, even though you have your degree is new and you're in your gap. And the other thing that I would do, Evelyn, and anybody else who's in an employment gap, there's a video out there on employment gaps that I've shot. So if you just go to my YouTube channel and type employment gaps in the search bar on my page, on my channel, it will come up, how to handle employment gaps. And there's more there for you and everybody else. All right. Kat, great to see. I'd be happy to see you all 3 days. Issa, I just still can't believe you drove all those miles to see me. I don't know if I don't know if this is kind of, it's all past now, but I was in California first half of June, and we did a couple of meetups. So people in the Northern California area and people in the Southern California, we got together, and man, what a powwow that was. It was just awesome fun. Issa, it was so great to see you. All right, Evelyn, on the career profile, should you state that you want to change careers? If so, how would one word it? Evelyn, I would not say I want to change careers. I would use the career Evelyn, you're in the premium programs. I would use the language, the sample language that I gave you to format where you want to go based on what it is that you've done. So if you want to talk about your education, and we move that up to the top, you can say, recently completed, and then talk about that in the bottom half. But I would list the capabilities that you have for the place you want to go, the career you want to change to. So for everybody, what she's talking about, the career profile, the summary at the top of the resume, while it is a history of what you've done, the communication for you is to market yourself to where you want to go. So if you are in financial services and you sell financial services vehicles and you want to switch to IT sales, you talk about selling. You don't talk about selling, capital markets and bonds and things like that. You just talk about selling. So you just want to massage the language in your career profile so that somebody reads it and thinks seller. Somebody reads it and thinks people person. Somebody reads it and thinks content developer, marketer, HR person, and whatever. So I would go back to that. I would also, for you, Evelyn, I really would watch that module in the boot camp. And I think that's going to help you with a lot of these questions. Gary, how you doing? Great to meet you as well, my friend. Hope you got that stuff that we sent. Okay. Isa, on a LinkedIn profile, after my job title, what is your opinion of adding a ragline, I'm assuming you mean tagline, like checklist and detail nerd with a flair for sales, and Isa and everybody else? I have one of those. I would never recommend that any of you do that. Okay, and here's why. So, for me, my goal in life is to create value for you. I want you to find it. A lot of you find it on LinkedIn, you find it on YouTube, but you find it from my content distribution. People don't necessarily go to LinkedIn and search for career coach. They actually don't, not really. For you, all of you, Isa and all of you, most of you are here for the topic of today because you're job searching or you're changing careers. You want to be found. Because you want to be found by recruiters, corporations, and so forth, you need to help them find you. If you put checklist and detail nerd with a flair for sales, nobody searches on that. They might search on sales, okay? But then if they look at what you're doing, they're going to recognize that that doesn't coincide, or maybe not the type of sales that they were looking for. So I would stick to nomenclature. Mortgage broker, loan officer, very specific, project manager, technology project manager, and get something very specific that these recruiters, corporations, hiring officials, whatever, that they search on. That the title's one thing, but the other assets that you have, like your headline the headline is one of the first things that people will see, but it's also a very powerful indexer on LinkedIn. So I would not recommend that. And I think we talked about that in the boot camp. And if you haven't seen module 2 where we go through that, I talk about that very thing and why, and I go through lots more detail about what you should do instead and why that's important. But I think you all get the gist there. Hey, Bengal baby Jen, how you doing? Dagmar, how are ya? Maya, my boot camper, how you doing? Oh my, Connie Cotter. Connie is so wonderful, and she's in her new job. Listening because I can't go too long. This is what happens when, I didn't have a live show for 2 or 3 weeks, and I don't know. That's so funny. Connie, you're awesome. Thank you. Hey, Connie, you're going to be so sick of me, man. We've got so many shows coming up, and leadership stuff is going to be awesome. By the way, so you see the leadership tag that Connie has, that she's referring to the leadership program that I have this month coming up in, actually next week, Wednesday. So a week from tomorrow is on persuasion. So literally for all of you, which is everybody, who has to make an argument at work, I'm going to give you the formula of exactly what to do and how you get your way at work with projects, promotion, anything you got to sell about yourself. So Connie, that's going to be awesome. And in that leadership program, I give you the workbooks and the summary write-ups and the video, the audio, the recordings, and all that too. So and we do it live. You are welcome, Evelyn, and Bengal Baby's taken. Hey, from Texas, Muthoni's. I don't know if you're familiar. Wendy, how are you? By the way, Wendy, I got where you? Whoop, dang. Sorry, my hand slipped. I know. I gotta just. Oh my God, how long is this chat? All right, hold on. Sorry, I'm trying to get back to Wendy. Oh, Wendy. So one of the things, hey Wendy, I got your email about the leadership thing, and one of the things I did this month in the leadership program was I asked people to send me their story so that I could tell them how to do it. And so Wendy, I got that. So I just got that this morning. All right, P. Rogers 50. Hi Andy, excited for today. Awesome. Bengal baby, I will self-employed again. All right. A. Gardner, hey, how are you? Melanie Newby, how you doing? Another boot camper there. Marta from Portugal, I love it. Bruce Allen, how you doing? Need a boost. MCK, we got a Mary. All right, Mary, I hope you heard the thing about the get-together in Chicago. I've been in real estate industry, 1099, independent contractor for 15 years. Seems like everybody's looking for W's. No. Mary, I have one, if not multiple videos on, oh man, okay. There's one flat out I know. I have a video out there about if you're a contractor or self-employed looking for full-time employment. Okay? Literally, if you type contractor, self-employed, full-time in the search bar, in probably anywhere, my video will come up at the top. Okay? And there's one, it's got a red bar on it. It's a great one for you. The other thing is, I can't 100% remember, on one of the public videos, I showed you how I would lay out, literally explicitly lay out if I was a contractor, how I would make my resume look like just the regular full-time employee. I think it's my Resume Tips 2019. It's like how to write the perfect resume or something like that. I think I go through that. If that's not the one, I'm not sure off the top of my head which one it is. I got so many videos out there. But if you watch the contractor to self-employed, I think that will help greatly. Sheba says, how you doing? You're welcome. Bengal Baby's got a question. Okay, Jen, this one's for you. I took advice and rewrote my new career resume from upholstery to web research. Any suggestions how to dress up employment gaps? Yes. I mostly subcontracted sewing odd jobs. Okay, Bengal Baby, I've got a whole video on that. How to handle employment gaps. For sure. Check it out. Answers in there. Christy, hey. Oh, Kirsty B from Dubai. How you doing, my boot camper friend? I hope you are coming this week. Rick, how you doing? Kathleen Phillips, one of the greatest huggers of all time. How are you? Kathleen, look. Can you see that? Can you see my table? It's actually got sun on there. And guess what Harley did the other day while Daddy was gone? He jumped up on the table because it was the only spot in the room that had sun on it, so he was sunbathing himself on my table. And my wife thinks it's cute and takes pictures. Okay. Vishal, how you doing? Enola, how you doing? It's been a little while. Abdullah, hey. Vishal, I'm not sure. You're looking for a job change domain. I'm not sure what you mean, but if you give me some clarification at the bottom, we'll get you answered. John, great to see you. Jensen, button 123. Oh, George, you got a new handle? Go back to the old one. Wesley, how you doing? Hello, Toya. You are welcome. Toya, I would definitely look at my Career Changer playlist. So the 4 stages and the 12 steps that I talk about, that is very packaged methodology. It's premium stuff. It's in my paid programs. But the Career Changer playlist has a half a dozen videos that, one of them's got like 7 things that you need to think about, other things about, targeting, thinking through it. There's some good stuff there. So it's my way of saying if you can't swing the boot camp or you don't want to get in the boot camp, try that. You're gonna get some good stuff there. Dave in Nashville, 62, self-employed, 20 years, and now need a full-time job. How do I handle this? Dave, I would go back. Same thing that I gave to Mary about, contractor and self-employed going to full-time. I totally understand this. And Dave, I know that is a painful situation. I know that I can tell you are not alone. There are a lot of people that are in your situation in their 50s and their 60s who've either been contracting a long time or have had a small business for a long time, and now it's time where they need a home, they need a steady paycheck, they need the health care, whatever the reasons, makes no difference. They're all personal. I feel for you. One of the things that we also do in the boot camp is we help with these kind of niche situations like this. Returning to the workforce, stay-at-home moms, new college students looking for their first job. We have a lot of that stuff too in there. Bradley Stone, hello Andy, thank you. Do you have any thoughts on working in different countries or only the USA? Bradley, in the Mile Walk Academy, there is every inhabited continent represented of people, and not just like a few. So we've got tons of diversity, and what I'm getting at is all of the people that are in. So there's two things you could be getting at. Do the principles that I'm teaching work globally? The answer is a resounding yes. Is there some modifications that you're going to need to make for different cultural issues or different preferences? Sure, right? We've got a boot camper, Rachel. She's on top of my mind because she just emailed me this morning. She was in South Korea. Was moving to Germany because she met the love of her life, and she got in the boot camp. She wanted me to do a resume review with her. She took my template. She discovered that in Germany they want a one-page only with a picture, and they want it laid out a certain way. All we did, we figured this out through our community. She and I worked on her resume. We retrofitted it. She moved, doesn't even speak the language, and just got an awesome job. So yes, we need to tailor it. So if that's what you're talking about. Now, if the other thing you're asking is, well, hang on, I'm in the US, I want to move out, or I'm in France, I want to move to Germany or whatever, we get a lot of that too. And candidly, whether you are looking across the ocean or whether you are looking down the street, a lot of the tactics that you are using in job searching, because of how digital we are these days, are very similar. Don't get me wrong, you got visa issues, you got other things that you need to accommodate for, but the answer is a resounding yes. And those are just, we have people that have moved from Europe to the US, have gone from the US, become expats. We have people that have moved countries like Rachel, Korea to Germany. We had another guy who moved from UK to Germany. We have people in Australia, people in Wendy's in South Africa. There's people all over the place, which is awesome. The only difficulty sometimes is when we do live shows and it's in the middle of the night for them. But yeah, it does. It really does. Resounding. A lot of Canadians. I don't know what country you are in. That would help too. But yeah, it does. I can excel. Awesome. Oh, Australia. Love it. I always think about people from Perth, Australia, the farthest point on the planet from me. Heloisa, Brazil. John Bailey, thank you for that. Andy's free resources are indeed awesome. Do you guys know that I had two goals when I started the year? One was to have the best premium training available. Best, most, and most available, me, to you. That was one. The second thing was that my free training was the second best training you could get in the world. Meaning my free stuff is going to be better than the paid stuff that you get, that you buy, or that your company pays for in your outplacement or whatever. That's my goal. So I'm glad, John, I love having you as part of the community, and thanks for chiming in on my Facebook page all the time. Muthoni's career change, 16 plus years work experience in some grad school. Dream company has 2 positions open in 2 different departments. I like both. One is entry, one is mid. Should I apply to both? Yes. When there's nothing wrong for any of you, career changing or not, to apply to multiple positions, guess what? Got a video on that. Head to my YouTube channel, type multiple positions. Actually, folks, not to be funny here for a second. Wait, and I love the live shows, and I want you to come and I want you to ask me your questions. But if it's not Thursday, well, today's Tuesday, but if it's not Thursday and I'm not here, go to the YouTube channel. Just type in anything you can imagine. And I almost dare to say a video will pop up that will help you, or I invite you to put a comment on another video that says, hey, Andy, I was trying to look for this, I couldn't find it. And then I'll respond and I'll tell you where to go. And the other thing is, if for whatever like crazy reason you can't find something on my YouTube channel, go to the blog. Go to my blog if you go to the Mile Walk Academy, just click the blog, and there's hundreds more audios and articles that are not videos that also can help you. So I know we're all video these days, but there's a lot of stuff there that you can grab. I have a lot of booklets too that are niche-y on the blog that are not as much on the YouTube channel. Robert Tatum, how you doing? Gajendra, how are you? Kim Getty? Is that my Kim Getty? How are you, dear? Hope you're well. Marite, bonjour to you too. Goodness. Company to help save the humans on our precious planet, but miss the big benefit. Oh, no. You know what? You are so going to heaven, and take me with you. That is awesome. I love that. I understand what you mean by the big benefits of corporate America and corporate Europe, but it's all in here. Adam Stark, how are you? Videos or advice on how to actually find out the company ticks your happiness requirement. Some will be easy to figure out, others not so much. I am trying to think if yes. And Kara can double check me. But I did a live office hours. You guys, if you go watch this one, you'll kind of laugh at the setting. But it was like the 10, hey, Kara, do me a favor. Pop this one in the chat. It's like the 10 things you need to do to prep for your job interview. And I think, I don't know if we gave like a 65-point checklist away at that one. I don't know that I still do that. But I take you through it, and I tell you what to look for, and that's on there, and I tell you how to find it. So I believe it is in, Adam, if Kara can't find it really quick, if you go to the live office hours playlist, go there and then kind of slide across or look at all the 100 of them and go down, and one of them is like the 10 steps to prep for a job interview. One other thing for everybody, if you are new to my YouTube channel, YouTube allows me, as you may know, to create playlists. I have playlists that are sectionalized by job searching, cover letters, resume, interviewing, live office hours, leadership development. I have your inner leader series. I have a master your craft series. Everything's broken into playlists, and you can you can kind of breeze through those as you need to. You can also add them to a playlist for yourself. That if you click add to playlist and create a little Andy playlist for yourself, or you can create a job searching playlist or leadership playlist or whatever you want. So I don't know if you knew that, but Adam, I believe that session is there, and it's probably a long one, but the teaching portion is maybe half an hour, and then there's another like hour of Q&A, kind of like this. One other thing, I'm not leaving these recordings up, so if you came in late and you want to check this out, Thursday night I'm taking them down for a number of reasons, but this little workshop here is a this week only. It's a bit of a promotional offering that's a lead into the boot camp to give you guys a little bit deeper taste of stuff, but just so you know. Cecilia, how are you? That's awesome. Cecilia is a boot camper, folks. She just did a returnship. So that's awesome. I love that. See, we help everybody no matter what your goals are or where you are located in the world. I love the expression "it's a small world" is pretty true. Allison, I am 100% Italian, and I am excited that you were here today too. Muthoni, yeah, I would totally apply to both. And when you apply to both, just mention that you applied to both, that you were interested in both. They both looked appealing, and you let the company know that. Sam, we got you. Vishal, this is a great question. How to justify your answer why you want to work in another country when you're looking for a job in another country, but the same position is available in your country for the same company. Vishal, whatever your reason is your reason. I want to change. I want a new country. I met the love of my life, and he lives there, she lives there, my family's there, my friends are there. Whatever your reason is your reason. The important thing about sharing the reason is that it's solid. And so if you are let's say you're in Europe and there's a job in the US. Or whatever, you just want to move countries in Europe, you want to move states in the US, or whatever it is. If you have the employers don't mind, and a lot of them are happy to relocate you. Some are not, but a lot of them are. But the thing that the employer is more concerned about is that you are definitely coming. Meaning there's no question. So when you say, well, I'm interviewing, I live in Chicago, but I'm interviewing in Portland. Why do you want to come to Portland? Well, I am looking for a change, but I haven't really, and you're saying something that either explicitly says or makes them feel as though you've not completely decided, or that there's not a real draw there. Like, well, I'm about to get married and my family's out there. My wife's about to have a baby and we have a better support structure out there. Whatever it is, I have already decided to move. I've already chosen that country, that city, that location. Whatever it is, you need to be definitive. That's it. It will not be as big an issue as you think. One other thing that Vishal, that I would highly recommend, and any of you that are changing states, cities, countries, or whatever, I did a video with 9 tips for how to get an out-of-state job. And it doesn't matter if you're changing countries, or, and as a matter of fact, anybody could watch that, because a lot of those tactics, 8 of the 9 are going to apply whether you're looking for a job down the street or you're looking to move. But there are certain little nuances when you're looking across state lines, when you're looking across countries or go over the ocean, that you want to account for. All right, Carrie Freeman, how are you? You're never late, 11:06. That's pretty good. Fingers crossed for you, Carrie. Isa, hey coach, it's a roller coaster looking for a job. You got that right. I mostly feel overwhelmed with being active on LinkedIn, interviews, follow-up, and learning, and retaining bootcamp critical content suggestions. Yes. So Isa, number 1, you are going to love that I finished this morning at 5:30 a.m. a booklet that helps you guide you through the boot camp, and it's kind of like a super uber duper checklist, because the boot camp is growing and there's more stuff for you to look at, and I think that will help. I think you should stay just focused on the boot camp from a training standpoint. This is good. This extra coaching is wonderful. On LinkedIn, I would have a schedule of, I'm going to go on LinkedIn at this time. Don't do it all day. Just from 10 to 11 in the morning, or whenever you do it, 6 a.m., maybe it's 6 a.m. to 7, and maybe it's 1 to 2, whatever. You're going to deal with that. Interviews, wherever they go, and as they surface, then you'll schedule them. And then the other time, I would be networking if I was you. It's getting a cadence down for yourself, and I would preload my weekly calendar before the week. And then I would make slight modifications throughout the week. Isa, you are in the boot camp, and all the boot campers get the Career Accelerator program in this package, and you've been granted it. And the fourth session in the Career Accelerator are all my organizational tactics. So I would check that out. That's worth it for if you're having trouble. I would check that out. and I would do that. Right on time, Wally Sark. Fawaz! Did you get my email this morning? Hope you fixed that. Cecilia, my ex-manager is trying to prevent me from getting an internal job I applied for. Ugh! Probably has a friend who applied. I see. She got her manager to tell me he will tell hiring manager I'm a step below the job I'm applying for. What can I do? So, if that is in fact the case, now you said probably, but let's just say you're right. So I'm going to go with what you put there. If a manager that I worked for was doing that because, she or he or whoever that, wanted his or her friend to get the position, then I would probably, go directly to whoever was hiring, and I would basically make my case to that person. And I would probably bank on the fact that and hope that that person recognizes that there's a bias with your boss, your ex-manager or your recent ex-manager, and you and the person that he or she put in. I would, if that's the case and what you said is true and your speculation is correct, I would go directly to that hiring official or whoever I could that could help me plead my case. This stuff happens. I mean, it does. It's unfortunate. All right. Carrie, let's see. Yeah, this community is just so cool. Kim Getty, I just yesterday went through the exact same thing was supposed to start. Oh my, Kim. Jeez. Hey Don. I'm just trying to get through, zip through here. I don't want to miss anything. Hey, Christy. Cat again. Okay, wait. So I'm going to look. Steve, you know what? I got some pretty good fans. You're going to have to fight a few of them. But you are up there, buddy. My Canadian friend. You are a good dude. John, you're on the recliner? Yeah, I'm not much of a couch guy myself. I like those chairs, though. My desk. Oh, my God. So, wait. Oh, my friend, she's in the boot camp. My best friend's wife's in the boot camp. And she says to me, like in your live shows on Thursday, like, how do people do that when they're working? I said, well, a lot of them, they put the earbuds in and they look at their phone, and it's so funny. All right. Natalie, how are you? Let's see. A. Gardner. Hey. Connie Cotter. Wendy, we got a question. Wendy, I don't recognize your name. Are you a first-timer? I'm usually pretty good with the names. And I really know the boot campers. So, hey, Andy, some job apps don't ask for a cover letter. That's true. So I have included a cover letter as the first page of my resume. Don't. Is this okay, or does it confuse the ATS systems? Recommendation here, Wendy, everybody else, keep the resume separate. If what you normally can do is, even if the application does not request a cover letter, lots of times you can attach them. What you want to be careful of is you don't want to attach the cover letter and the resume and get the ATS confused about what's your actual resume. So it should be crystal clear that this is your resume, this is additional documentation. Sometimes what you can do is there's a notes field or there's an other field or whatever. You could just say, I'm putting my cover letter. Every ATS is a little different. But I do not like it when I see the cover letter with the resume. That's a personal preference. I don't think, the ATSs are, they just read what's given to them. So I don't know. that it would confuse it. I think it's more for the people that are actually looking at the resume. All right, Jenny Hinkle, how you doing? Hi, Andy. Unfortunately, I got a rejection letter a few weeks back. Is it okay to email the same recruiter about another position there, or should I just cold apply or move on? I have multiple answers for you, Jenny. Great question. All y'all and Jenny, point forward, I have a video out there called How to Get the Job After Being Rejected. It's kind of a popular one. It's good. The technique is good, and I get emails literally every single day from people who use the technique who then got a job as a result of that technique. You will also find loads of comments on the YouTube channel about the same thing. Do that. It is a way of when you find out you are rejected. This assumes you went through an interview process, not like I applied and I got a rejection email. You actually went through an interview, one or several. This is the final thank you / cover letter. Literally, it's like a thank you cover letter blend that you're going to end with and tack down. And then you're going to contact the employer 30 days later. Okay, that's what the video will give you the script. In your particular case, and anybody else who's been through an interviewing process where it did not work out, and then at the same company, you notice another position, if the feedback, so at the end of your rejection, you got feedback that said, you didn't fit, maybe we hired somebody else, maybe we went with an internal candidate, any of that stuff's okay. If they said something like, we just don't like you and you're not a good cultural fit, I probably wouldn't apply to the company. If it's anything but those kind of things, then what I would do is I would go directly back to the person who you had the last contact with. Whether that's a recruiter, if you got a recruiter who quarterbacked your process, or you got a hiring official, an HR person, an HR official who quarterbacked the process, I would go back to him or her. If it's a small company, they didn't really have somebody, I would go back to the hiring official. But I would go back to someone and say, hey, I really enjoyed my interviewing process there. I was really bummed out that I didn't get a chance to work there. I have since noticed there's another position I would love to apply for. I'm attaching my resume. Do you feel this? Give them a question. Do you feel I would be a good fit for this role? Would you help me in, getting it routed to the right spot? And if it's a small company and they only have one recruiter, you're there. If it's a medium-sized company, you're probably still there. If it's a very large company, they have multiple recruiters, those recruiters will pass it back and forth. But if that recruiter sends it to another recruiter, that is a really good sign, because the recruiter, him or herself, would not necessarily forward that if they did not think you would be a good fit for the company. And you got a better chance of that recruiter, Sally going and Jimmy going, hey, look, we had Jenny in here, it didn't work out. But just because, Joe had a lot more experience, but she's great, and I think she'd be great for this role. You want that. You want to take advantage of that. So that's what I would do. I would never just move on. Unless they said, hey, Andy, you do not fit. This is not what we're about. We don't like you, whatever. But I would definitely go back. Rejection process, then follow up 30 days later. If any of you find out in the meantime that something is surfaced. The other thing I want to mention about the 30 days later, actually, I think I saw Kim in there about somebody just had an op and then the company backed out. Okay, well, the company could have backed out for any one of a number of reasons, or the candidate, maybe that they hired in Kim's case, she was hired and they backed out. But if somebody was hired, you heard Sam earlier talking about how he got this other opportunity. Well, this happens. People, they sign their paperwork. They don't start for 2-3 weeks. Something happens. They don't show up. Somebody starts, then they get a call, then they interview, then they leave. 30 days is an eternity. A million things can happen. So it's always prudent to follow up. You never know. But just take heed from that. It's true. All right. let me see, where was I? I think I just lost this one. There we go. Can't, okay. Connie, I must have been, Annie's the only presenter I found who was worth staying. That's awesome. Can you hold on a second? You know, guy, I can excel whatever your name is. I love that. All of you need to know this. That kind of stuff. Well, first off, your attention means the world to me because I know, just like you, we're all busy. We got a million things competing for our attention, whether it's job searching, our corporations, our companies, our children, our husbands, our wives, our friends, all the bazillions of emails you're getting and all that stuff. So the fact that you are here, I appreciate. The fact that you are here at 2 a.m. your time, I really appreciate. And lastly, don't minimize how much your feedback, especially that nice feedback like that, means to me, because I get tired too. But like I'm like the Energizer Bunny. But yeah, I get tired. I don't like, not, everybody gets tired. I'm human. But I mean, I love what I do. But that gives me that jolt of energy. It's like, gotta keep going. Gotta keep going. Everybody loves that. And thank you for sharing that. Isa, any magic questions should ask in second interview for a job that I do for a job that I do from home? Oh, never worked from home and I'm nervous. I don't have the discipline. So first thing, those are very separate issues. First thing, I would so you have interview intervention. So if you guys don't have my little beauty, I know Issa has this. This is free. You pay $7 shipping and handling. You get this free anywhere in the world, the ebook, the audiobook. Inside here are 39 great questions to ask. Oh, wait, here, let's put it that way. 39 great questions to ask. If you get the $7 offer, there is a bonus workbook in there of 75 great questions to ask. There's a pile there, and I would choose the questions from that list that deepen the relationship that you have with the company. Now, the second interview itself could be the second time with certain people, or it could be new people. If it's new people, it's still almost like a first-time interview. However, I would highly recommend that you watch my second interview video. So, Isa, on the YouTube channel, there's a video on, probably crushing the second interview. I don't know what it is. Just type second interview, SECOND interview. And I give you some great tactics. Now, the discipline question is different. That is, you're going to need to know how. So discipline it isn't so much discipline as it is that it's about focus versus distraction. So I know a lot of people who work in corporations that go to their corporate office every day that aren't disciplined to save their life. So I would talk about the structure that you have, how you would go, how you generally would go about your day. I would highly recommend you go into the Career Accelerator program and watch that module on my organizational tactics. And from there, you will be able to glean some of the best things that you can do to keep yourself on focus and discipline and know how to plan your day. But I would not be nervous. Working from home just takes a little practice. I really enjoy it, and a lot of times, if anything, it allows you to work more. And for a lot of people that work from home, it isn't so much the lack of discipline; it's that they work more. Because it's always there. So I wouldn't worry, but I would check those things out. Those two, the second interview and the Career Accelerator thing. Carrie Freeman, Andy is so awesome. I am free walking advertiser for him. I love this stuff. All right, Connie Cotter, definitely people you used to work with are invaluable. Oh yeah, I mean it's networked me through to finding your current job. It's awesome. Oh my God, huge water. Andy's huge. Oh God. This is from one of the places that I frequent. And because they don't have to-go cups, they give me the glasses to take home. Don't be afraid to ask for what you want in this world. The answer is always no unless you ask. A. Gardner, don't worry about it. Send out positive vibes. Hey, right on time, Wally Sarker. I don't say this every week. I hardly ever say this. But you all should be connected to me on LinkedIn. I have a huge network. I am happy to help you in any way that I can. All you need to do is send me a little LinkedIn request, and I would appreciate it if you just say, hey, Andy, I'm in your community. Would love to connect. Andy, I enjoyed your live office hours. Love to connect. That's it. I just need an association. That's all. I will be happy to connect. Sat, you're always relevant and focused, Andy. Thank you. Going back to that, thank you for that. Folks, the leadership program, we did a whole session on focus. I gave you everything I have to maintain focus, and it's a lot of fun. For those of you, I know it's a little extra expense, but it's a modest monthly cost, and it's going to be even less because I'm going to have an annual package where you can really cut the rate down. In this upcoming month, I think. So, check it out if you, if you can. And Dan Morris, thank you for that. The bootcamp is beyond worthwhile. I refer back to the course details daily. If you are really, if you're job searching and you want to do it right, I promise you will not find anything like this program. I mean it. And you don't have to take my word for it. You can look at all the stuff and the emails I'm sending you. And it's risk-free. So it's a 30-day money-back guarantee. And I'm, no questions asked. I'll stand behind it. Kathleen, good. Connie, good. Nathalie. I don't know if it's Natalie or Nathalie. What is this cycle and off-cycle job search about? If a job ad is off-cycle, does it mean it's a ghost posting meant for somebody internal? Or is it a good thing? I actually don't know what you mean by cycle or off-cycle. So if I'm totally speculating here, I've never heard of that. That either companies put the postings up or they don't put the postings up. Sometimes they leave the postings up even though they're not really hiring because they're technically always hiring, right? I have my sales position always up because good salespeople are hard to find, and if somebody applies and we look at that and we have an underperformer and we might want to swap them out, I get it. I don't know that I've ever seen anything labeled cycle or off cycle. But it's possible that maybe there's a seasonality to it, and it's just leaving the job ad up. I really don't know. I really don't. For anyone, Kathleen, anyone that hasn't joined the boot camp, go for it. It's definitely worth the money. The information is so valuable. I love this. You guys are awesome. Thank you. All right, just trying. So, Kim Getty, got to have a job to pay for a boot camp. You know what? I know that's true. So this boot camp promo is $497. So if you got to do the math. If you make $25 an hour, right? It takes you a couple days to pay for that. If I could help you find your job faster than 2 days, it would pay for itself. If you're unemployed. And then it's half the time if you make $50 an hour, and even a quarter time if you make $100 an hour. So it's and the life value of the coaching sessions and all that good stuff. It's hard to completely express the ROI on this stuff, but I appreciate that. I get it. It costs money. Right on time, Fawaz. Thank you. Casey De La Garza. What is the best way to start conversation with someone who lives far away? In my city, I invite to coffee. So for me, I like to just, first thing is, for most of the time, not always, I like to have a phone call with them. And then I'm happy to have coffee with people. I just want to have a few minute phone call just to kind of set our parameters and get to know each other and all that good stuff. So the best way to start the conversation is, hey, would you be up for a quick call to say hi? And then, if it makes sense, we can get together. I know it takes some effort, but that's what I would do. I don't have a problem. And if somebody's a gamer or wants to meet, that's cool too. Bengal Baby. We have 4 chickens. They have names. They're all named after English princesses. So there's Kate, Elizabeth, Diana, and Margaret. And we will never eat them because my wife named them. And I wouldn't be able to eat them anyway. Stephen Baldridge, Andy, my dream job just came open, president. Although I know I can do a great job on paper, I'm not quite qualified. Any advice for applying for a job you aren't quite qualified for? Yes. First thing is, do you have any connections? Obviously, you want somebody to vouch for you. If there are gaps, it depends on what those gaps are. If the gap is, I'm the president, I want to be the president of this software company, but I've never really worked with this particular software product, but you've worked in software or technology, it's not really an issue. It depends what you're, if you've never understood full-on operations, that's a problem. You know what I mean? If you're not, you don't really understand sales and marketing strategy, that's a problem. You know what I mean? So it depends what those gaps are. So before I could give you the best advice, I'd want to know if those gaps are surmountable or not. And if they are not surmountable, like they need somebody with ops experience or they need somebody who understands how to market that product because they need a president who's more sales. So it depends. If there's CEO, that's the strategist. The president is the operations and implementer, ops person and implementer. So you may or may not need to know these things, but it's kind of hard to answer without knowing what the gap specifically is. Natalie, how are you? Terry Ann, I don't know what you're doing wrong on the phone interview, but I have a phone interview blog post if you check my blog out. All right, how are we doing? I'm almost out of time, folks. For today, but I'm back tomorrow. Ethano, you are great to have you from Germany. Go have a cup of coffee with Rachel. Steve, you're welcome. Don Lee, I'm moving to an area in a month and a half. Should I apply? Yes. Yes. 100%. Final answer. Fawaz, same thing. I would check that video out. He's asking about people who are switching from different countries, like my case, Middle East to the U.S., how to get an out-of-state job. All same principles apply. Kat, meetup would be sweet if prospective employers were also there. If we have a meetup, anybody could be a prospective employer at that place. Yes, Connie, you can make it down from Madison. Sam, I love you too. Let me try to get through as many as you. Tim Bissell, frustrated. Seems like the only people I'm hearing from currently are those that require a relocation. Tim, I know it's not a question, but what if can you ask if it's something you can do remotely? You never know. All right, folks, real quick, check the boot camp out. Now, I'm here tomorrow and I'm here Thursday. Tomorrow is about the anatomy of a networking message. I'm going to break down the 7 components you got to have in there. It's pretty good stuff. On Thursday, job search challenge, focusing on the right activities, the problems you're going to have, and so on. Then Friday starts the boot camp. So you got till Friday at 11 Central to get this package of the boot camp. And then every Friday, here on out for the next 5 Fridays, starting Friday, live private coaching. So it's a great time to get into the boot camp. We have what's called the boot camp blitz. So there's 5 in a row. You got tons of great stuff, tons of things I've added. Check it out. If I didn't get to your question today, you're welcome to go in and comment in, because I'm going to leave these videos up for a couple days. Or stop by tomorrow. You can get here early. You can pop your stuff in there just like Steve did, and a few others that showed up a little beforehand. You pop your question right in. I just take them in order. If you liked it, click the thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel so that you get my weekly videos and you can show up for live office hours and all that other good stuff. Until tomorrow, you guys all be good. I will see you soon. Take care.